In this next of our How to Become Wealthy in Real Estate the Smart Way video series, we're going to be discussing opportunities the short-term vacation rental industry may have to offer you. I'm sure you're already aware of at least some of the names by now, like Airbnb, HomeAway, and VRBO. But of course, this information is applicable to the ever-increasing network of vacation rentals by owner sites and services. I want to start out by saying that this is not intended as a comprehensive training on how to run or manage your vacation rental business, and though we will be touching briefly on the differences between becoming a traditional landlord to becoming a vacation rental host, what we will be focusing on most is how you can research properties in specific areas to take the guesswork out of determining whether or not they would be profitable as a vacation rental investment or not before making a buying decision. So let's start with some basic facts. Did you know that according to the latest statistics found at visitphoenix.com, that the city of Phoenix hosted nearly 18.2 million visitors in 2016, including more than 1.4 million international visitors? If not, now you know, and I think it's probably safe to say that the Phoenix area is a very popular destination place for visitors from all over the world. Now, did you also know that because short-term rentals can command higher nightly rates, some estimates show short-term rentals can provide returns up to 30% higher than traditional month-to-month rentals or long-term leasing, and it has proven to be a more lucrative investment strategy in some cases. We want to put the emphasis on the "in some cases" part here, because of course all of this depends on one thing, and I'm sure you've already heard this before: location, location, location. Obviously, this strategy relies heavily on the property's location and its proximity to attractions such as galleries, museums, theaters, nightlife, and of course, dining and shopping. Fortunately, here in the Phoenix area, there is no shortage of attractions, not to mention numerous golf courses, sporting events, and mountains which provide tourists the opportunity for hiking, biking, climbing, and other outdoor activities. Another thing which many tend to overlook is that running a short-term rental business is not the same as leasing out your home and providing a minimal level of service, such as urgent repairs, collecting the rent on a monthly basis, etc., etc. Listing your property on VRBO or Airbnb takes you from a traditional real estate rental business and puts you squarely into the hospitality business. In short, you are no longer simply leasing out four walls and a roof, and the role you play is more akin to that of a concierge or a tour guide. In addition to providing a furnished home, casita, condo, or townhouse, you will also be providing amenities such as Wi-Fi, television and cable, plates, dishes, cooking utensils, complimentary bottled water, as well as provide directions to nearby landmarks and answer questions about the weather and so on. Having said that, you may be thinking to yourself that this is a lot of additional work and expense and not at all what you had in mind. However, if you are a buy and hold investor who is seeking a property to rent out and you want to maximize that property's full earning potential, you may want to consider doing just a bit of research to determine whether or not a specific house in a specific area would produce considerably more cash flow as a vacation rental before making a buying decision. For example, let's just say that you own this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhouse in Scottsdale. We can see from our SmartMap rental data that the estimated rent is $1,932 per month based on the rental comps in the same area. We can also see that after we deduct our expenses, that this particular property has a potential of producing a 9.75% annual rate of return based upon a full price purchase with 20% down. Please keep in mind that the sample property we are using may or may not be suitable for use as a vacation rental. We are simply looking at the numbers as if it were in a suitable area to give you an idea of what you might expect. and how you can go about researching your properties. We have selected a house in Scottsdale because we do know that it is a highly popular Airbnb and VRBO destination area. Having said that, let's take a look and see what one might be able to bring in from this same property by listing it on Airbnb as a nightly vacation rental. But first, let's go ahead and figure out the daily rate the home can currently produce as a traditional month-to-month rental by simply dividing the expected monthly rent of $1,932 by 30 days, which gives us a daily rate of $64.40. Keep this in mind as we introduce you to a service called AirDNA. Please note that we are not affiliated with AirDNA in any way, but the site does appear to provide the most accurate, up-to-date information on Airbnb we've discovered so far. Also, please keep in mind that AirDNA is a subscription service, so if you would like to have access to all the advanced features, there are several pricing plans based upon your specific research needs. We have included a link to AirDNA below this video. For this training, we have done a quick search for the top Airbnb listings in Scottsdale, and we have selected entire place as our search criteria. I'm sure you can do similar searches on Airbnb and VRBO as well, but there is no charge for this and obviously saves us a lot of time. By scrolling down the page, we see prices ranging from a high of $1,179 per night for a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom home, all the way down to $79 per night for a 1-bedroom, 2-bath condo, plus everything in between. Obviously, what we want to know is the average nightly rate for properties that are comparable to our 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhouse we are considering. And as you can see, there are plenty to look at. Again, we are researching to find like-for-like properties to get an accurate idea of what we can expect to charge for our property on a daily basis as a vacation rental. Please keep in mind that we are looking at the average daily rate and not necessarily what the property is currently renting for today. The actual rate at any given time is obviously determined by the time of year. Here in Phoenix, the peak season for hotels and vacation rentals is from November through April, when we see blue skies with the highs in the upper 70s and low 80s. While the rest of the country battles cold and snowy conditions, many residents call this snowbird season, thanks to all the additional visitors in town. At the time of this recording, it is mid-August. So, when you click on the property's title to view the actual listing on Airbnb today, we can definitely expect to see nightly rates much lower than average this time of year. And of course, during peak season, we can expect to see much higher rates. So, for obvious reasons, we always want to use the average rates in our initial research. If you would like to see a snapshot view of the average rates based upon season, you can do so by clicking on Search Now. As you can see, this will take you to a page where you can view a wide variety of data including average daily rates by month, occupancy rates, revenue, and so on. Again, if you wish to have access to all the bells and whistles the AirDNA has to offer, you may want to consider subscribing to their service. For our purposes, we'll only be using the information we have complimentary access to. So, let's get back to the previous page where we find the top Airbnb listings in Scottsdale. Our next step would be to simply go down the list to find all the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom places for rent, and as you can see, once again, there are several. I understand that this is very time-consuming, but this is also necessary for those of you who wish to make informed and intelligent buying decisions. For the purpose of this training, we'll just go down the list and use the average price of the first 10 that we come across to save a little more time. This should give us a fairly good sampling, but of course, if we were doing this for real, we would definitely want to find and use all the like properties from the top 100 to get the most accurate numbers. As you can see, the first property we come to is number 4, which has an average price of $391 per night. We also see listings 10, 16, 17, 20, 21, 25, 29, 30, and 32, with nightly rates ranging from a low of $142 all the way up to $416 per night, all of which are 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes or condos. This gives us an average nightly rate of $254.20, which is obviously considerably higher than the $64.40 we can expect to bring in as a traditional rental. In fact, if we multiply that $254.20 nightly rate by 30 days, it comes to a whopping $7,626 per month. And if we enter that into the estimated monthly rent field on our smart map, we can see that our rate of return on rents only jumps from our 9.75% all the way up to 140.71%, for an increase of 130.96%. Now don't get too excited yet. We want to come back down to earth for a minute, because we still have some work to do to come up with realistic expectations and numbers, because we definitely won't be taking in $254.20 a day for 365 days a year on this property, especially during the off-season months, May through October. So we do have vacancy rates to consider, along with a variety of other expenses that come along with running a hospitality business, such as providing consumables for your guests, plus turnover and management services if you don't plan to manage the property yourself. However, many experienced vacation rental hosts do offer a monthly rate and are able to rent their places out over the summers, thereby keeping occupancy rates up during the summer months to some degree. Most people looking for short-term monthly rentals are those relocating to the area who are looking for a permanent place to live, and they don't necessarily want to be dealing with property management companies, rental applications, and so on just to stay in a place for a month or two. Also, if you're willing to be a bit flexible and host couples with children and pets who simply need a temporary place to live while remodeling their home, this will make your place stand out from most others for summer bookings. Our best advice is to spend some time on Airbnb looking at each comparable property's location and description, the number of guests allowed, amenities, and of course sleeping arrangements. In short, use the resources you have available to you to come up with realistic numbers and set realistic expectations. For demonstration purposes, let's just say that we're not interested in renting this place out on a monthly basis during the scorching summers, and that our property is vacant for an entire 6 months out of the year. If we take our estimated monthly Airbnb rent of $7,626 and multiply by 6, that gives us a 6-month vacancy rate of $45,756. And if we enter that number into our Smart Map Calc tool, we see our return on investment drop down to 56.82%, which is of course a significant drop. However, it is still a little over 47% higher than what we can expect to bring in from the property as a traditional month-to-month rental. And I think it goes without saying that you're probably starting to see the potential. But there's actually more. Because when you take into consideration that an Airbnb rental does not even have to be an entire home, but can just be a comfortable sleeping area, you can quite literally turn just about any space in or outside of your new investment property into an Airbnb. If you're skeptical, just take a look for yourself. A quick search on Airbnb.com for a private room for 2 guests in Scottsdale produces a large variety of results, ranging from casitas and tiny homes to vintage trailers and RVs to, believe it or not, spruced up shipping containers. Not to mention, each bedroom can also be rented out separately on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis with shared living spaces and bathrooms. A huge plus for those interested in pursuing this type of business model in Arizona is a relatively new state law which says that municipalities are no longer allowed to ban or restrict short-term rentals in any way. However, the law does not apply to properties that belong to an HOA. In other words, it states that government agencies cannot interfere with the HOA rules homeowners agree to when purchasing their properties. So obviously, if you're planning to purchase a short-term rental property, be sure the HOA rules allow for short-term rentals. In addition, the daunting tax collection process, which once existed for many hosts, has also been simplified, and Airbnb now processes the taxes as part of the individual rental transactions. In short, the tax hassle has been eliminated for hosts, and the tax revenue is paid to the state in a timely manner. The bottom line is that if you're willing to embrace the fact that running a short-term rental business is a lot less hands-off than managing a traditional rental property, the rewards can be tremendous as well as lucrative. What's next? Well, no matter what your real estate investment needs, contact us today to find out how our Smart Map Systems technology can put you in the driver's seat and give you an unfair advantage when it comes to locating and researching profitable real estate deals, including Airbnbs. Thank you for listening.